Hi everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 3, Episode 17, Visionary. So this was an okay episode. It wasn't great, it wasn't terrible, but it was kind of an interesting concept. And it was a little too sci-fi, but I'll get to that at the end. So it starts out pretty interesting where we have Klingons and Romulans both aboard the station. Now, rumor has it, originally in the script it was supposed to be Nausicaans and not Klingons, which I would have found amazing because Nausicaans also have that very brutish warrior type personality, and other than the Tapestry episode of The Next Generation, I don't think the Nausicaans have had like their own main focus episode. They've kind of been in the background of some scenes, but that would have been great to actually have them be one of the main focal points of the episode. And the same rumor says that because they weren't as well known, that's why they weren't doing it. And so, I mean, if Ira Bear ever watches this or I ever talk to him or something, it'd be awesome to kind of get his opinion on if that's true, if Nausicaans were supposed to be the main character. But whatever, not my call. So anyways, so we have Klingons and Romulans on the station, and O'Brien ends up getting injured. And he wakes up, and it's kind of a neat scene. He's in the promenade, he's in Quark's bar, and he's playing darts. And now at this point, we saw them install the dartboard in the previous episode. And now, from here on out, the dartboard has a regular appearance. It kind of makes up for, every series has its own game. I believe Voyager had pool, and The Next Generation had poker, and this one is darts. So, I don't know, something about like drinking and gambling or something, I don't know. And so, he goes out, he like disappears. He has like an out-of-body experience, and he sees himself across the promenade talking to Quark and just kind of laying into him about how like the Klingons are destroying stuff and blah blah blah. And that's something we see throughout the episode, is him jumping back and forth. And finally, when that time kind of loops around, Quark runs up to him and he's like, "Oh, I need my holosuite fixed." And O'Brien's like, "Are you kidding me?" And he realizes, like, wait, this is the conversation I saw. And he turns and looks, and Quark looks as well, and they both see O'Brien. So now we know it wasn't a dream, it wasn't a hallucination. They both see that earlier appearance of O'Brien across the promenade. And this is something that keeps reoccurring over and over again, where then O'Brien sees himself getting shot and killed. And then O'Brien sees him abandoning the station, which we then see the station explode. This is the first time we've actually seen the station explode. Kind of like a Next Generation. Like, we saw the Enterprise blow up like 4 times, I think. So it's kind of interesting. Meanwhile, Sisko's kind of dealing with his own thing, talking to the Romulans, and the Romulans bring up the treaty that was talked about a few episodes earlier, where they're lending us a cloaking device for the Defiant in the agreement that we only use it in the Gamma Quadrant, and we give any information we get to the Romulans. And so from here out, it's kind of the same. It's O'Brien going back and forth, and then the second plot line kind of ties into the first, where it turns out that this whole time there was a Romulan warbird cloaked, and it's like radiation or whatever is causing science fiction mumbo jumbo, and that's what they were picking up with their signals, and O'Brien going back and forth in time. Whatever, who cares? And the whole plan was for the Romulans to blow up the station and seal the wormhole because they don't want the Dominion crossing over. And so it would just be easier to seal the wormhole shut and then just call it a day. Just be like, no, okay, we're done. That's how we solved that problem. And like I said, overall, it was kind of an interesting episode. And then the little twist at the end was O'Brien controls his time thing and goes to the future to talk to future O'Brien and basically ends up dying, and then the future O'Brien has to go back in time. It's only like 4 hours or something, and basically save the day. And it's kind of interesting because it's not quite the same O'Brien, but realistically, like, those 4 hours aren't going to make a difference. So he just replaced himself. So I don't know, overall this episode was interesting. I just felt like it was relying too heavily on the science fiction. Like, it could have been dumbed way down and made a lot easier to follow. I don't know. I feel like it was just trying really hard. So, for those who have seen this one, what did you guys think about this? What did you guys think about the Klingons and the Romulans? What would you guys have wanted to see it as a Nausicaan? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, as always. You guys are all amazing. I will see you guys next time for Distant Voices.